Cage Minds. We got Don Cioffi joining us, boxing coach for Claudia Gadelha, and we ran into him here at Latrell Yee MMA. Thank you for the time, sir. How you doing first off?
Doing great, Micah.
So boxing has been your foundation, your love, your way into combat sports. When did that start?
Well, I started boxing when I was a teenager. I was young, 14, 15 years old.
How'd you get into that? How'd you walk into the gym?
My father used to box when he was younger, and I always liked it. It was always a little wild. And it was an easier way. Instead of getting in trouble, you could go into fight in the ring and not get in trouble for it.
And that has led you on a long journey with boxing.
Yes. Yep.
What was the amateurs like?
Amateurs, you know, it was fun. I mean, I like the amateurs, but you can't eat trophies. That's why I turned pro, you know. You can't eat trophies.
And then 21 fights, I believe it was,
yes.
as a pro?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was great. You know, it's a different world. I mean, there's still a lot of politics, you know, back in the day. That's back in the 80s, you know. There's a lot of politics involved in boxing. I still believe there still is a lot of politics involved in it.
Now, you made the transition from fighting to coaching. Was that a natural transition? Was it something you were forced into?
I did that with my son. My son, you know, got into, you know, MMA. Initially I didn't like it. I tried to talk him out of it. Didn't think it was, you know, I didn't like the sport. And you know, when he was just not going to stop, so I wanted to make sure he had a good training facility. And you know, I was a wrestler also, so you know, working the boxing and the wrestling, and then you know, he learned some jiu-jitsu. It started from there.
Now, how did it progress to now you're working with, and you have worked with UFC caliber fighters?
Yes. Well, at one fighter, then I was training at my house. I had a place in the back called the Chamber. There's a barn in the back that we used to train at. Then I needed a bigger place, and other fighters just started coming to work with us and just kept growing. We were at one time, I think we had 18 fighters, 12 amateurs and 6 pros. And then I just started, you know, just the local circuit, Jersey, PA, and then some of the regional shows.
Then it started to grow, obviously. What was your thoughts going in, you know, from the boxing background, watching MMA striking?
I was confused. I was wondering why they didn't use more boxing coaches to, you know, to clean up the striking. You know, now everybody does. Everybody brings in a boxing guys, you know, to make the transitions into, you know, the takedowns, their jiu-jitsu game. I think the boxing makes a more well-rounded MMA fighter. You need good striking nowadays. You can't be one-dimensional.
And how would you describe your style of boxing?
My style of boxing, aggressive. You know, you're setting the pace, using the jab to you know, set everything up. You can set your kicks up, your takedowns up. You know, it's in your face, more of an aggressive style.
What's been the biggest thing you've wanted to correct watching a lot of MMA fighters, their fundamentals?
Footwork. Their footwork is, a lot of it's not very good. I don't think it is. You know, from what I look at, you know, from my standpoint, I think they cross their legs a lot, and then you have to worry about getting taken down. You cross your legs in this sport, they're taking you down. You know, I just think, you know, just that, and the jab. They don't use the jab enough. The most important punch you have is your jab.
Now, as I've met you, you're out here working with Claudia Gadelha.
Yeah.
What has that relationship been like working with her?
Oh, it's great. It's more like she's like a niece to me. You know, she's great. She listens. Whatever you show her, or teach her, if she likes it, she's going to use it, and she'll use it right away. She's been very, very. You've seen her. You've heard what's going on with her in this camp. She's much improved. I mean, her striking it's on point now, and she's just more of a complete fighter now. She uses that striking. I think that people are going to be very surprised this next fight, you know, 212.
From where you started out with opening the gym for your son and not really being too much into mixed martial arts, you've worked with UFC fighters, and what are your opinions now on the sport?
I love the sport. I think it's great. You know, that's all I do. I read, I watch, you know, watch fights, film clips. I think, you know, it's a great sport, and that's what it's a sport. A lot of people have they have a crazy idea. It's like a street fight. It's a sport. There's rules. It's, you know, I think there's less serious injuries in MMA than there are in boxing.
Definitely less than are in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true too.
Now, what have you thought of the experience coming out here, Latrell Yee, being out in New Mexico from New Jersey, quite the different place?
Totally different place. I was adamant about not coming out here. I didn't come out last time, and now this camp, Claudia talked me into coming out. I'm glad I came out here. I know now. I understand why people want to train here. Number one, you have a lot of great fighters that come out here. So it was great work. The weather's great. I mean, the altitude for the training is just this is the place to run camps from now on. I think we're going to be running all of our camps here.
And then, how do you feel that you're able to blend the boxing with the MMA? Has it been seamless, or was that for you something that took time to get the footwork and how you wanted to do it properly to set up to defend the ground stuff?
Now it's seamless. In the beginning, it was tough. I had a lot of other things that I had to think about. Like, wow, I didn't think about that before, because in boxing, you didn't have to worry about getting taken down, kicked, kneed. I mean, but now it is seamless. I modified it to the point where it just transfers into everything else you do. You use your boxing to set up the rest of your game, and it makes it that much better.
Great talking to you, Coach. Thank you for the time.
Thanks, Micah.